Hi friends, it's Diana here today, and today we're going to be working on the Sylvie dress. This dress has some beautiful options. It has the option of a cutout front or back or both. It has an option of a solid back and front. It has different sleeve options. It has a regular sleeve option. It has a flare sleeve and a flutter sleeve. It's got different lengths on the skirt, and it's got two different skirt options. I mean, it is full of beautiful options. So because of that, we've got a couple videos on this tutorial. This video is going to work on the solid version with a flutter sleeve in an A-line skirt. If you want to see the cutout option, make sure you check out our other video. Let's get started. All right, we're going to start with our darts today. If you're doing cutouts, you will not have darts at the waist, but because we're doing the non-cutout version here, we have the darts on the bust and the waist. We have those on the waist of the front bodice, the waist of the back bodice, and then both waist, the top waist at your skirt pattern. So I'm going to show you how to do one of the darts, and then we're going to do the same for all the darts. We're going to sew them all at the same time. So make sure that when you're cutting out your pattern, you trace out your dart onto your fabric with a water soluble or some marker that will come off, or chalk or anything like that, on the wrong side of your bodice. All right, so here's my dart. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start at the point of the dart, the end of the dart, and I'm going to pick it up. And then I'm going to go to like that middle line of the dart at the other end. And I'm just going to lift it up so that the fabric is now touching right sides together. I'm going to grab a pin, and I'm going to go in on the bottom line and come out on the other side, making sure I come out on the line. And then I'm going to slide my pin over and come back out on the other side, and then do it again with another pin so that I'm catching that dart, the line of the dart. Now that I have that ready there, it's prepped, I'm going to go over to my sewing machine. When you're sewing this up, you're going to actually start from the outer edge. I know I'm pointing to the inside, but you start at the outer edge and go towards the inside. When you get almost to the end of your line, you're going to lessen your stitch and go all the way out, leaving a long thread that you're going to tie off later. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Same thing to all the other darts. For the non-cut out version, you'll have 4 darts in the front bodice, because you have the bust darts and the waist darts, and then you have 2 darts in the front skirt, the waist darts. You have 2 darts in the back skirt, and then 2 darts in the back bodice. Let's do all that. All right, so we start at the top with a regular straight stitch, removing your pins as you go so you're not going to run over them. And as we get over close to the edge, we're going to lower our stitch and go all the way out at the end, leaving a long tail so you can tie that off. Do a little knot here at the end. Nothing super tight, like I said, because you don't want it to have like a little bump or anything like that. So just a little knot. You can do 2 of them. Okay, and then I'm just going to cut the rest of it. And there is your dart. Then we're going to go, after we're done with the darts, we're going to go over to our iron and steam them sideways, kind of give them a little flat steam, and then steam it from the front. And you can't even see it very much. Let's do that to all of them. All right, so now that we've got all our darts finished and completed, we are going to attach our bodice top and our bodice with our skirt. So you're going to grab your front bodice and your front skirt. You're going to face them right side up like this, and then you're going to flip this right over, and we're going to sew right sides together this waist seam here. Couldn't think of the word. We're using a stretch stitch, so you could either use your stretch stitch on your sewing machine, or you can use your serger for this step. And we're going to do the same for the back. I'm going to be doing circle sleeves, the flounce sleeves. So you essentially have this really pretty circle flutter here. If you use fabric like I used, a double brush poly fabric, But if you use a fabric that doesn't really need hemmed, you can leave it raw. I think I might leave mine raw, but if you are going to hem, you can go ahead and finish the edge if you want to all the way around it. And then what you're going to do is you're going to steam your 1/2 inch allowance all the way around the whole thing. Now, when I'm doing a rounded hem, what I like to do is I start and then I kind of pull the fabric a little bit to help me get that mark there, to help me get it to settle down. You know, you kind of pull it and stretch it a tiny little bit, and it helps the fabric to settle into its shape, and then you steam it. And so that way it lays nice and flat because it is rounded, so it's kind of hard to get it to lay nice and flat. So when you pull it like this, you kind of help it to stay nice and flat. So that's how I hem my on the circles. But I'm not hemming today. My flutter, I will hem the skirt, but I'm not going to hem my flutter today. So I'm going to leave that be. If you are hemming your skirt, after we sew our waist, then we're going to go ahead and go at the bottom of the skirt and fold up your hem to the wrong sides and go to your iron and steam it to give it a memory fold, a memory crease. That way, after you sew the sides and you go to hem, you have that nice crease that helps you to do a better job at hemming. All right, so we're going to be doing the regular neckband. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my neckband and fold it right sides together at the short raw edges. Alrighty, this is such a simple dress to sew. I am so excited because it's going to take no time. All right, so once we're done sewing that, we're going to grab our bodice and we're going to face them right sides together. And we're going to match up the shoulder seams first, right sides together. And then the side seams. Match up that seam right there and then go towards the top and then towards the bottom. And we do that for both sides. Y'all, we're almost done. This is such an easy dress and I'm so excited because it's going to be so cute. I need my scissors or clips. Here's my little bag. Couldn't find my little bag. Here she is. This bag's got all my goodies in it, all my sewing goodies, everything. Well, I've got big scissors, but I know we have some snips in here. All right. This comes in handy. So handy. Okay. All right. So we're going to trim all these threads because I don't like them. And you know, because I'm going to run over them with my machine when I sew the neckband on and when I sew the sleeves on, it's okay to do that. Okay. First, sleeves. Now, remember, if you wanted to hem, you could go ahead and hem first. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to quarter them. So that way I know exactly how to put them in. So we're going to fold them and find our halves. And I'm just going to do a little clippity clip. So just clip those, just a tiny little snip that I can see when I'm sewing, but I can eat with my seam allowance. It's not bigger than my seam allowance. It's smaller than my seam allowance. So it's just fine. I'm going to match those two together and go to the sides. And those are my quarters. And I'm going to do the same for the other sleeve. And then for my actual arm side, we're going to grab those two seams together and then go to the sides. And those will be my quarters. And then we're going to grab our flutter sleeve and we're going to fit it into there. And right sides together, we're going to match up those quarters. So we're fitting it in there, right sides together. And so my one notch goes at the shoulder, the other half notch goes at the armpit seam, and then the quarter points match up together as well. And we're going to do that for both sleeves. Once those sleeves are sewn up, or if you're like me, at the same time that you're sewing up the sleeves, we can go ahead and work on our neckband. All right, I'm going to grab that neckband and fold it wrong sides together longwise. Match up the back seams together and then go to the front. And I'm going to mark also by snipping a little bit right there in the front. Then I'm going to match up my front and back here and then go to the sides and mark those sides. Then we're going to quarter our neck by grabbing our shoulders and going towards the front. That's going to be our front mark. Then grabbing those shoulders and going towards the back, and that will be your back. And then I match up my front and back and go to our sides. And then I'm going to fit that neckband in there, right sides together, with that seam on the back bodice. All right, let's go sew that up and hem, and we're done. Ah! Make sure you don't miss a spot like me, and then you gotta go right over it again. Neckband. For the neckband, I always like to start in the back, and I want my neckband to be face up, so that way I can see how much I'm eating. I grab that first quarter point and I stretch to fit, matching those raw edges. Then I do the same for all the other quarter points. All right, friends, we are finished with this dress. I think it turned out so cute. It was so simple and so fast. I love it. Let me know what you think. I hope this tutorial was helpful. Go grab your pattern, come back and sew it up with me. Like I said, if you're making any of the other options, make sure you check out our other video as well. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.